In 2023, an amateur drone pilot named Marcus Heller was flying a modified thermal drone over Egypt's Giza Plateau, attempting to capture infrared anomalies for his growing conspiracy theory channel. What he recorded, however, wasn't just anomaly, it was impossible. Hovering near the apex of the Great Pyramid of Giza at exactly 2:13 a.m., his drone captured a concentrated vertical beam of light, brilliant white with pulses of red and blue, emitting from the tip of the pyramid and piercing straight into the night sky. The beam lasted precisely 33 seconds. At first, Marcus believed it to be a camera glitch. But when he slowed the footage, he noticed something even more disturbing. The beam wasn't illuminating the sky, it was drawing something in. A distortion in the stars above, as if space itself was being pulled toward the light, like water spiraling into a drain. Terrified but fascinated, Marcus uploaded the footage to an encrypted server. Within 12 hours, his apartment in Berlin was raided by unknown individuals posing as internet service technicians. His computers were taken, and every trace of the video online vanished. 3 days later, a short and vague statement from Egypt's Ministry of Tourism dismissed the footage as a digital fabrication. Yet, Marcus' close friend and hacker, Lila Nguyen, had already made multiple backups. She began her own investigation and soon uncovered something far more sinister. For the past 7 years, GPS satellites orbiting over Egypt had occasionally been knocked out of sync, always within minutes of unexplained energy surges over Giza. Internal NASA reports, never made public, had documented these geomagnetic anomalies, but were buried deep behind layers of clearance. Lila went further. She hacked into old, forgotten Cold War intelligence files. To her shock, both the US and Soviet Union had once deployed reconnaissance aircraft to monitor energy spikes from the Great Pyramid, dating as far back as 1971. The records describe electromagnetic emissions identical to what Marcus recorded, but those files were stamped top secret, Project Luxor. The deeper Lila dug, the more dangerous it became. Her signal was tracked, her identity leaked, and within weeks, she received a warning, a plain email that read, "Stop. This is not for your kind." But Lila was undeterred. Before vanishing entirely from the grid, she scheduled a timed data drop. The contents revealed multiple high-ranking scientists from CERN had visited Egypt under false identities just weeks before the 2023 beam incident. According to hotel logs and surveillance stills, they carried non-standard equipment and avoided all press. Why would particle physicists be interested in a 4,500-year-old structure? A leaked audio file, poor quality but unmistakably real, captured one of them whispering, "It's not a tomb, it's a transmitter. And it's not meant for Earth." As of now, every scientist allegedly involved has gone silent. No official comment. No denials. No appearances. And the real question still haunts the digital underground. If the beam was a message, who or what was it meant for? Lila's timed drop didn't just send shockwaves through fringe internet forums, it ignited a wildfire. Reddit boards dedicated to forbidden archaeology, deep state cover-ups, and ancient alien theories exploded with activity. But among the noise, one cryptic user stood out. Their username was @hex_keeper, and their only message was a set of coordinates, followed by, "The pyramid is waking. The others are next." The coordinates pointed to a remote desert region in Sudan, home to the Meroe pyramids, much smaller and lesser known than Giza, but built with unnerving similarity. A French satellite image from just 2 months earlier revealed heat signatures underneath the largest pyramid there, structures buried deep beneath the sand, symmetrical and humming with residual energy. While the mainstream media avoided any mention, a few whistleblowers inside ESA, European Space Agency, confirmed anonymously that several observatories had picked up unexplained low-frequency pulses coming from multiple pyramid sites across Africa, Asia, and even South America, specifically Machu Picchu and Teotihuacan. Each frequency was identical. Each site activated within weeks of each other. It wasn't just Giza. Someone, or something, had triggered a network. And Marcus footage had accidentally caught the first outward-facing emission of that network, the signal. Theories escalated. Some believed the pyramids were ancient reactors. Others claimed they were communication hubs. But one idea began to dominate the underground narrative. They are receivers, set to unlock when the right conditions align. Lila, now living off-grid under the name Sarah Valtor, journeyed to Sudan with a hired local guide. What she found shook her to the core. Deep inside a ruined shaft beneath the Meroe site, she discovered perfectly smooth walls of an unknown black metal, humming faintly. In one chamber, a panel lit up as she entered. No buttons, no screens, just light reacting to her presence. Symbols danced across the surface. Spirals, triangles, star maps. She filmed it all. But as she exited the chamber, she saw military-grade tire tracks outside, fresh. A black unmarked helicopter was already circling above. The footage she smuggled out that day was her last known contact. 2 weeks later, encrypted data was leaked to a select few online cryptographers. Inside the files were 3D schematics of something hidden beneath the Giza pyramid itself. An inverted structure, stretching nearly 800 feet underground, shaped like a diamond with moving internal parts. And at its heart, a chamber labeled Phase Gate. The files referenced terms like dimensional drift, stellar resonance, and non-human protocol. But most chillingly, one note stood out. The beam was not a broadcast. It was a response. Meanwhile, reports started to surface from rural regions of Siberia and Patagonia. Shepherds and hunters describing thin, humanoid figures, glowing faintly in the dark, speaking in tonal pulses. Local authorities dismissed them as hoaxes or folklore. But radio telescopes in Chile's Atacama Desert picked up a repeating signal after one such event, a binary sequence, matching the pulse frequency recorded at Giza. Back in Cairo, the Egyptian government shut down all drone flights and imposed no-fly zones around the pyramids. Tourists were banned from climbing the stones. The excuse? Structural preservation. Behind the scenes, a new joint task force was created, covertly, between NASA, Russia's Roscosmos, and China's CNSA. It was called Operation Veilstone, and its mission was not exploration. It was containment. And somewhere, deep underground, under the desert silence, the pyramid pulses again. Just once. But this time, something pulses back. 3 nights after the pulse was detected in response to Giza's second emission, a quiet panic spread through certain scientific circles, those embedded in government space programs, and others in long-forgotten black-budget operations. At the heart of the storm was a single file labeled Only. Ex Reticulum Concordance, Eyes Only, August 2023. Inside that file was a decrypted message, pulled from a Cold War-era satellite that had been decommissioned in 1989. The satellite was part of Project Tesseract, a U.S. surveillance initiative launched to monitor unusual astronomical phenomena over the southern hemisphere. But the final message it ever received wasn't stellar radiation. It was artificial. The coordinates in that old message? Exact match to the Giza Plateau. Date stamp? August 1st, 1968. Meaning whatever the pyramids did in 2023, they had done before. But no one remembered. There was no public record, no global panic, no scientific paper. Just silence. Someone, or something, had wiped history. Now, in a remote bunker beneath NORAD, a handful of high-clearance analysts sat in dead silence as the new message was played through the audio room. It was only 12 seconds long, a deep, metallic hum, fluctuating at regular intervals. It wasn't language, but it had structure, rhythm, intent. Artificial intelligence systems tasked with pattern recognition across languages, music, mathematics, and even EEG brainwave data all returned the same translation. Awakening protocol received. Begin convergence. Back in the real world, strange phenomena intensified. Earth's Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of the planet, began to spike irregularly. Migratory animals veered off course. People around pyramid sites began reporting identical dreams. A blinding white structure floating in a void, and a voice whispering, "The gate must open from within." In Lima, Peru, a government-funded archaeological dig near an ancient pyramid complex accidentally unearthed something buried beneath the bedrock. It wasn't stone. It was organic, a black root-like structure that bled glowing blue fluid when cut. It grew toward the stars. Before the team could investigate further, Peruvian military sealed the site. All data was confiscated. The lead archaeologist, Dr. Elena Montalvo, went missing 2 days later. Her last voicemail, sent in a panic to her brother, said, "They're not monuments, they're seedlings. And they're waking up." Now, secret meeting rooms across Beijing, Washington, and Geneva held quiet, grim discussions. The question wasn't if this was an alien artifact anymore. The question was when it would fully activate. Because what terrified everyone wasn't the light. It wasn't the sound. It wasn't even the scale. It was the possibility that the pyramids were never meant for us. They had been here long before us. And now, something was coming to claim them. At 2:13 a.m., exactly 1 month after the original beam, the light at Giza returned. This time, it didn't shoot into the sky. This time, it split. 7 separate beams shot downward into the earth, forming a perfect heptagram around the pyramid. Seismic activity exploded across Egypt, followed by a deep, low tone, not heard, but felt, in every cell of the body. Air traffic control recorded 7 aircraft going completely offline for 22 seconds as they passed over the affected zone. Passengers would later report the same hallucination. A being made of mirrors, reaching out. Governments went silent again. But the next day, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory recorded something that broke every known law of space. A ripple in the sun. Not a flare. A ripple, synchronized to Giza's exact pulse frequency. As if the sun had heard it. As if it were responding. The countdown has begun. And the last note from Lila, transmitted from an unknown location buried beneath the Atlantic Ocean, contained one final, haunting phrase. They never left. They were waiting for the signal to come home. 3 days after the solar ripple, something shifted in Earth's magnetosphere. At first, it was subtle. Instruments at the European Space Agency picked up irregularities, minor distortions in the Earth's protective magnetic field. But then came the auroras, unnatural violent streaks of green and violet light appearing near the equator, a phenomenon physically impossible under normal conditions. These weren't just beautiful. They were signals. Every major observatory, from the Mauna Kea telescopes to the South Pole neutrino detector, confirmed the same impossible data. The magnetic anomalies were forming a geometric pattern around the Earth, matching the proportions of the Giza pyramid base. And at the center of this emerging planetary grid, a location in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, once believed to be devoid of significance. Until sonar scans revealed the presence of an enormous triangular monolith, buried thousands of meters beneath the sea floor, carbon-dated to more than 36,000 years before recorded history. That's when the real panic began. One of the world's most respected astrophysicists, Dr. Min Tao, summoned an emergency closed-door meeting at the UN. His research team had compiled global data, cross-referenced with pyramid alignments, satellite pulses, and solar responses. Their conclusion was blunt and chilling. The pyramids are part of a network. A system designed to connect planetary bodies once conditions are met. The beam was an ignition. Earth has been marked as active. We are no longer dark in the cosmic lattice. A single chilling word was whispered in the room. Beacon. Back in the Pacific, a deep-sea probe reached the monolith. It carried ultra-penetrating sonar and resonance imaging. The device captured a brief scan before losing connection. What it transmitted was not stone. It was a door, with what looked like something inside, suspended in stasis. A humanoid shape, nearly 4 meters tall, with 3 arms and an elongated crystalline skull. Its chest pulsed faintly, as if breathing. The probe imploded seconds later. Meanwhile, civilians across the globe began to report psychic phenomena. Thousands described waking from the same dream at precisely 3:33 a.m. Standing before the Giza pyramid, which floated hundreds of feet in the air, rotated slowly and cracked open like a seed. From within, a blinding violet light spilled out, and a voice, not heard, but understood, spoke. You were never alone. You were never first. Prepare. Governments could no longer contain the truth. The Vatican convened a private council for the first time in 600 years, recalling ancient forbidden texts locked beneath the Vatican Library. One passage, from a lost scroll attributed to Enoch, read, "When the sky splits and earth sings, the builders shall return to finish the design. Woe unto the keepers of the false dominion." Religious leaders began to fracture. Some called it divine intervention. Others feared it was judgment. But the scientific world had united under one silent, grim understanding. Earth was never the center. Earth was a seed vault. And the builders were coming to harvest. Lila's final encrypted video message, broadcast only once before her signal vanished, showed her deep beneath the Atlantic monolith, speaking in a panicked whisper. "They're not hostile. They don't need to be. We were ants in a machine. This isn't war. It's an update. The system's waking up, and Earth. Earth was just a part of it. A power cell. A lens. A gatekeeper." She moved the camera to the far wall, where ancient carvings shimmered in the probe's spotlight. Hundreds of planetary symbols, including Jupiter, Saturn, and several unknown ones. One, marked in bright gold, pulsed with light. Earth. Then it changed. Slowly, ominously, it dimmed, until it went completely dark. A system message appeared, translated by her neural AI implant. "Local node realignment complete. Awaiting arrival." And across the skies of Earth, observatories captured a final, shared vision. A ripple, like a wrinkle in space, unfolding near Proxima Centauri. From within it, something massive began to emerge. Not a ship. A structure. The same shape as Giza, but black as obsidian. Floating. Approaching. And for the first time in modern history, the pyramids began to vibrate. The vibration was imperceptible at first. Stones that had remained silent for over 4,000 years now resonated with a deep, bone-penetrating hum, not enough to shake the ground, but enough to make nearby animals flee and electronics glitch in erratic spasms. Then came the light. On the night of September 9, 2023, millions of people tuned into a live stream from Cairo, a private citizen's drone feed illegally broadcasting above the Giza Plateau. What they saw has since been banned in over 40 countries. At exactly 9:09 p.m., the capstone of the Great Pyramid, long lost to time, reappeared, materializing out of thin air in a glowing burst of violet energy. It hovered, pixelated, almost like a hologram, then locked into place with a blinding flash. The hum grew louder. Not just in Egypt, but across every pyramid site on Earth. From Chichen Itza in Mexico to the Xi'an pyramids in China, every single structure responded. Locals watched in awe and terror as ancient stones began emitting a synchronized tone, 7 distinct frequencies, playing like a cosmic chord. The Earth itself began to sing. Within 72 hours, seismic equipment worldwide detected something impossible. A regular, rhythmic pulse originating from the planet's core. Like a heartbeat. Like the awakening of an engine. In orbit, satellites malfunctioned en masse. GPS grids fractured. Starlink feeds dropped for minutes at a time. Every telescope turned toward Proxima Centauri captured the same haunting image. The structure was now fully visible. It was vast, larger than Earth's moon, with 6 faces, each engraved with moving glyphs that rearranged themselves every few seconds. It wasn't just approaching Earth. It was aligning with us. And then, the moment humanity officially lost its innocence. For the first time in recorded history, Earth received a direct transmission. The origin. The object near Proxima. The content. An image burned into radio frequency. A map of the solar system, Earth marked at the center. Around it, 7 nodes, each aligned with the locations of Earth's largest pyramids. A secondary message followed in audio, decoded by linguists, cryptographers, and AI. Station 641 Alpha. Terraforming sequence confirmed. Evolutionary cycle concluded. Primary life form insufficient. Begin reclamation. Humanity was not the objective. We were the byproduct. And now, our time had expired. That's when reports began flooding in. In Siberia, an ancient lake evaporated in minutes, revealing a perfect metallic tetrahedron underneath. In Antarctica, seismic scans showed that the ice-covered mountains were not mountains at all, but machines, buried for millennia, now activating. In the Amazon, a hidden temple erupted with blue flames, its top forming the final point of the planetary heptagram. Across every continent, ancient mechanisms locked beneath temples, jungles, seas, and deserts were coming to life, synchronized, unstoppable. And above it all, from orbit, the Proxima object began projecting a faint gravitational distortion, pulling space-time like a thread unraveling. Physicist Dr. Javier Almas, broadcasting live from Geneva, put it bluntly. It's not an invasion. It's not a weapon. It's protocol. We were a test. The pyramids were keys. Earth is a node in a machine we didn't know we were powering. Religions fractured. Governments shut down communications. Martial law was declared across 38 nations. But it was too late. Because at 3:33 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the Great Pyramid cracked down the middle. A violet vortex bloomed from within, silent, rotating, alive. And a shape stepped out. Tall, reflective, limbs that bent in unnatural ways. Its face, a perfect mirror. It looked at the camera, spoke no words, only gestured upward, toward the stars. And in that moment, every pyramid on Earth echoed with the final transmission. The gate is open. Transmission complete. Prepare for extraction. The skies turned dark, not with clouds, but with geometry. Shapes folding in from other dimensions. Patterns no human mind could decipher. And just before global blackout, one final line of code appeared on every screen, every device, every implant, every frequency. Earth, reset scheduled. Archive unnecessary. As the skies split open and the last remnants of Earth's artificial light were swallowed by an impossible geometry, the world stood still, no longer in fear, but in a deep, cosmic silence. Cities dimmed, oceans calmed, and time itself seemed to hesitate. From every activated pyramid, beams of light surged upward, converging into a colossal lattice that wrapped around the planet like a cocoon. The mirror being at Giza stepped into the vortex it had summoned, and in that final instant, before all transmissions ceased, before satellites blinked out, before every digital archive erased itself, humanity collectively understood the terrifying truth. We were never the architects, never the inheritors, only the placeholders. Earth was not ending, it was being reclaimed. Then, with one final harmonic pulse echoing through the void, the planet vanished, folded into a dimension beyond understanding, its history sealed, its purpose fulfilled, and the stars once again left in perfect, indifferent silence.